Don't get mad at me when I tell you this, but your before and after will not save you from being fat again.
Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today we're going to be bringing back someone that we have actually talked about in the past, but it's been quite a long time. So today we're going to be talking about Jessica Torres, who is this person right here. We actually made a video about almost exactly a year ago at this point. And the title of this first video that we talked about is Fat Activist Calls Ex-Fats Toxic for Losing Weight.
I'm still trying to figure out how you go from promoting self-acceptance, body positivity, fat activism, to creating content that trolls fat people. I'm trying to find the connection on how that happened.
And in this original video, she had made this TikTok reel where she was talking about how, she is upset for people that end up losing weight and making content about weight loss. And it was very interesting because she, used the term ex-fat, and she was upset with people basically that had lost weight and were making content, just kind of sharing their weight loss journey. And, as far as the gist of the video and what I had to say is it really felt like she was basically saying, it's okay if you want to lose weight. That's fine. That's your choice. But don't talk about it. That's kind of the vibe that I ended up getting from the video. I think that in the original video, she seemed to be pretty grounded and like tried to share her points without stepping on too many toes. But the recent post that we're going to talk about, I think, is a little bit different. And so the post that we're going to be talking about is coming from her Instagram. So again, if you're not familiar with who this is Jessica Torres. She says just fat girl things. And she talks a lot about, fat acceptance and all of these things. I don't really know what this is all about. We're going to skip ahead and skip past that. But she talks a lot about, fat acceptance, body acceptance, stuff like that. And this is the post that we're going to be talking about, right? And so it is titled, "Your before and after photos won't save you from being fat again." And now this was sent to me quite a few times by quite a few people on Instagram. And so people obviously, this had struck a nerve with a few people. And so we're going to go ahead and go over this video and see what she has to say. And, I will just share my opinions on her opinions, right? So let's go ahead. Take it away, Jessica. Let's see what you have to say.
Mad at me when I tell you this, but your before and after will not save you from being fat again. I think the rise of Ozempic has made everyone so brazen and bold to talk about weight loss in such a fatphobic way. Listen, personally, I don't think it's my business, nor do I care what you do with your body.
Okay, well, there you go. Video's over. It's none of your business, and we can move on. Great. Clearly, that's not the case here.
And if you lose or you gain weight. But I think posting about it is damaging for you and for the people who are looking at it. I try to understand.
So again, it seems like very similar narrative, and I'm assuming the reason that she is posting it obviously very similar to this original video. Oh yeah, this kind of stays in, right? So this original video she's filming, I'm assuming this is the same exact area. It seems that she is basically trying to recreate this viral-ish, it wasn't like super viral, but viral-ish video from about a year ago, right? So I think that that's kind of on purpose.
Why? And then I try to put myself in your shoes. And when I look at it from the grand scheme of things, from the big general perspective, it makes sense. Of course you want to post your before and after photo.
So you're saying that you're trying to put yourself in someone's shoes. And I mean this respectfully, but you don't know what that person is going through, right? Like if someone has lost hundreds of pounds and they have been struggling with their weight their entire life, and this has been something that they have wanted for a long time, for you to sit here and say just so nonchalantly, well, you posting your before and after, you're going to be fat again anyways. Like, do you not think you look like a gigantic a-hole? Like, I mean, I don't understand what you think people are going to say to this. And like, if you're going to look good, like you're just like, you might be, I'm based on the science and based on what they're saying, but like, you just look like a jerk, and you look, in my opinion, you look jealous. You look like someone that's mad that people are losing weight and you don't want them to post before and afters. If people want to post before and afters, they are allowed to do that. If it bothers you so much, unfollow them and move on. Like these posts, the only reason you're posting this is because you want to get engagement. You want to get people talking about it, right? And you win because here I am making a video on it. But, you know, whatever, it is what it is.
Many see it as a notable accomplishment. So of course you're posting about your weight loss. It makes sense, right? And I don't blame you. I think that wanting to be part of this thinness club is something that society is pushing us all into. And
it's not this thinness club that society is pushing us into. This is what's frustrating when people kind of make these arguments, because they basically take all of the humanity away from the person and all the personal choice. And it's like that's not your fault. You're just a stupid person that doesn't make their own decisions. Society, like, no. Every person can make the decision whether or not they want to share their weight loss or not. There are plenty of people that lose a ton of weight, don't really talk about it very much, and they move on with their life, whatever. And there are plenty of people that make it their whole personality. You know, you can decide who is better on that spectrum. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, like everyone is different. Everyone is going to make different choices in how they share that journey. And I think a lot of people post about it because who knows, maybe they have a ton of people in their life like Jessica Torres that are a-holes about it, that are just like, you're not going to keep the weight off, so you try to lose weight so many times, blah, 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 right? They have a ton of people in their life that are already like that. So what are they doing? They're searching for a community of like-minded individuals that are doing something similar to them, that can relate to them, that can cheer them on, anything like that, right? That's why a lot of people post. Now, obviously with how things are now with influencer culture and stuff, a lot of times people are like, oh, I can make money off of this. That's a whole nother thing, right? But as far as like just in general, people posting about this, that's fine. I think where a lot of this stems from is that Jessica is seeing a lot of other people that were in fat positivity, fat activist spaces, and that's what this original video was about, that we talked about before, was she was upset that other people in the fat activist, fat acceptance spaces that were quote unquote fat activists or fat acceptance activists, whatever, decided that they wanted to lose weight. And then they started talking about the fact that they wanted to lose weight and sharing their weight loss. And that upset her, right? And it seems like it's just the continuation. Like she stayed mad for an entire year here, right? And we're just back to where we began a year ago, right?
then it turns to be that maybe one of the reasons that you post this is to inspire other fat people to lose weight. But then that's where you lose me, because I thought this whole process was for you. I don't know what the point.
Bro, okay, this is it being intentionally dense, in my opinion. Like, you can do something for you, but then be like, you know what? I've had a lot of people that are commenting like, it's so cool to see this. I've struggled with this myself, and be like, you know what? Let me make a page. Like, that's what I think about when I think about Obese to Beast. The first page that I ever made named Obese to Beast was on Instagram. The reason was because I was posting so much weight loss before and after stuff. I was like, you know what? Let me make a page that's just about this so I can just post it and not feel bad about it, right? This was way back in the day before Instagram had videos, stories, anything, right? All there were posts. That's the only thing you could do, right? And so then I started that way, and then it gained traction. And then I realized, oh man, like this thing that has been a huge part of my life, and I lost weight without posting, for the most part, without posting most of it on social media. I lost the weight before I really had a social media, right? I know I'm old, right? But then once social media came around, I was like, let me talk about this thing that was a huge deal for me and literally changed my life. Because there are plenty of people out there that truly do believe what I'm sure similar stuff that Jessica says, that you can't lose weight. It's impossible. There's no reason to try. Why would you even give it a shot? You're never going to lose weight. You are born to be fat. It's always how you're going to be. It's just the way that you are. Like, there are plenty of people that are out there that genuinely believe that at the core of their being. And so seeing someone like me that didn't know what I was doing, I just kind of started, figured things out along the way, that can be inspiring for them. And then you can be the person that's doing it, realizing that you're inspiring people, and that is exciting for you. And you're like, well, I want to continue this because this makes me feel good, and I feel like I'm putting something positive out in the world. Like, it's just so bizarre that someone can be this upset about someone improving the quality of their life. Like, it's crazy to me. Crazy.
Of posting it is we can see it. We see you have gotten into a smaller body now. What ends up happening and what you're showcasing is that you went from being the oppressed to being the oppressor, and you're okay with that.
I mean, this is crazy. this is crazy. I don't even really have much to say about this. This is like, who thinks this way? If you think this way, you're cooked. I don't know what to tell you. Like, you are cooked. You're cooked. I'm sorry. That's crazy to think that way.
Now, here's the kicker. Statistically, proven by science, not by me, so don't get mad at me, you will gain the weight back in 2 to 5 years.
It's so funny, the picking and choosing of science, right? Because they'll sit here and be like, oh, science says this, but then science says something that's not conducive to how they feel about being in a bigger body, about, how it's unhealthy to be heavier and how there's all of these issues. And they're like, well, that's fatphobic. And that's not true. And I don't agree with that. And that's not even really how it is. And I completely disavow that. But then this one, they're like, well, science, because I'm big into that. It's like, come on, dude. Like, be for real. Be for real. You're just picking and choosing.
Now, I've met a lot of friends who have gotten multiple surgeries and have done things to lose weight. And I met them years ago, and now they're back to their original weight, or some of them are probably a little bit even bigger than they were before. Now you find yourself being back into the same body that you hated before, the one that you were claiming was the worst version of you. And I'm not here to shame or to scold anyone. I think that it's a reasonable thing to want to be part of this thinness.
So this is what's frustrating, right? Because not everyone that loses weight claims that. First off, I want to say that, right? I always say, I lost weight from a place of self-love. Self-love was the thing that got me to lose the weight. I loved myself enough to realize the life that I was living at 400 pounds was not the life that I was intended to live, was not the life that I wanted to live. There is more to this than meets the eye, right? That's how I felt. I felt like I was, and people get upset when I say this, but I was like trapped in this body, right? This prison that I had built for myself, right? And I wanted to get out of it. But it wasn't because I hated myself and I was disgusted and I was like, I hate everything about myself. No, it was like, I love myself and I want to give myself the best chance to move forward, the best chance at a future, right? That's why I did it. And so it's just frustrating because it's like everyone's lumped in. I'm sure there are plenty of people that make claims like that. I hated myself, blah, blah. Everyone's different. Everyone's going to have different motivations, things that get them moving, right? But I truly believe, and I've had a lot of people disagree with me, if you are someone that loses weight, puts in the effort, puts in the work, puts in the time, you are someone that in some way there is a love for yourself, because it is difficult to lose weight. It does take effort. And I just want to say, just because something is difficult and takes effort does not mean that you're some rah, I hate, I just have to freaking work hard and There's differences, man. And it's so crazy that there are so many people out here that it's like anything that requires effort and is hard, just don't do it, man. It's clearly not for you. No, like there are some things that are hard and are also worth it. Pause. But like there are things that are difficult, yes, but it's also worth doing and worth going through and worth suffering through and making yourself a better person. Bizarre. Okay, let's continue. Sorry.
Club, because society has made this the ideal place to be. We all think that thinness is where we're going to achieve self-love and careers and friendships and love, partners. And of course we all believe that, it's the long going myth of what thinness will bring to you. But I think it's more important for you to be at peace with yourself. You're a member of the thing.
So it's not like everyone's saying that, but like, I don't know, this might get me in trouble, but like if you are at a certain size where your weight is making so many things in your life harder, right? To where you can barely get out of bed. You can barely get out of the house. You can barely do these things. You don't want to go to the beach. You don't want to go on a hike. You don't want to do all of these things because your weight is genuinely making those things just either not possible or it takes a ton of work, a ton of effort. It's painful. It's not enjoyable. So you end up not doing that. I think it's fair for people that are like, this is a life that I am living and I want to change that life. I want to make my life better. I want to live a life that I enjoy, where I don't feel pain every time I wake up in the morning or whatever it might be, right? Whatever thing you're dealing with that your weight is contributing to. I think that those people, if they want to lose weight and they want to make a decision to further their health and try and get better, like saying something like, I don't know, man. It just feels like you're someone that is upset that people are trying to lose weight. And you're like, well, you're going to gain the weight back anyway, so why even try? Like, that is such a, I don't know, it's just a defeatist mindset. Like, even if it is only 5% of people, right? Okay, that's still 5% of people that are now in a much better place, right? That didn't give up. And so, I don't know, man.
Club now, but remember that your membership can be revoked at any moment, and it'll push you back to the end of the line where you began.
So it's this thought that like weight just magically appears, right? If someone lost a significant amount of weight and they gained all of that weight back, there are habits that they formed while they lost the weight that maybe weren't the healthiest. You know, this is stuff that I talk about all the time. This is why I am not a proponent of doing super crazy crash diets and like trying to lose weight as fast as possible. Like, I think that there are ways to lose the weight in a healthy, sustainable way that is maintainable long-term, right? I lost weight 12 years ago, okay? I lost weight when I was 20. I am 32 now, right? I have never gained a significant amount of weight back. I'm not sitting here freaking like the Thor that like does the craziest workouts. Like, I'm a normal dude. Like, granted, this is my job, so I guess that makes it a little bit easier for sure, right? But like, I know plenty of people that have quote unquote normal 9-to-5s that have been able to lose the weight, keep it off. I'm sure if you're one of those people, please leave a comment. Let's show that it's not some magical fairy unicorn that exists out there that was able to lose weight and keep it off, right? I'm sure there's plenty of people watching this video right now that fit into that, right? And so it's just like, it's just frustrating seeing someone that is in this position being like, well, I mean, yeah, you can lose the weight, but you're just going to gain it back anyway, so why even try? It's like, geez, man, like, who stole your joy, brother? Like, damn.
And the vicious cycle continues. I know this is a heavy topic, but I have spoken a lot more about this in depth in an essay on my Substack, All Things Fat with Jessica Torres.
So that's her Substack that she
don't get me.
She ends up. I want to read the comments on this post. Because it was actually interesting because a lot of people actually were disagreeing with her. So here are some of the top comments, right, from this post, right? This is the first video where you've completely lost me, and you can be fat positive and still choose a weight loss journey. Those two things are not mutually exclusive. Speaking for myself, sharing my before and after photos is for me and for anyone else who might see themselves in my story. When I was 300 pounds, fat, confident, and genuinely happy, it was other people's weight loss journey, especially through VSG, that helped me believe I could do it too. And guess what? They were right. I'm not here pushing weight loss, but I am proud that my journey has inspired others. It's also a part of what keeps me accountable. Some people do gain the weight back, but many others use tools like surgery, medication, or lifestyle changes and keep the weight off. That's their path and deserves respect. But calling folks who share their journey oppressors as a POC, that framing is wild to me. You've completely shifted the meaning from structural power to personal choice. That's where I truly checked out. People are allowed to be proud of themselves, especially when they've worked incredibly hard to heal and grow. What exactly was the point of your video? To discourage fat folks? It's giving, don't lose weight or you're going to gain fat and you're going to gain it back and be fat again energy. I'm shocked actually, right? And then you're right about the before and afters won't keep you from gaining weight again. But how is losing weight and sharing it making someone an oppressor? At my heaviest of 478, my mobility was deteriorating so fast. Walking was very hard. I broke my ankle under my own weight. People were awful to me. I felt better off not alive. I post for people who may feel the same and who want to maybe change their situation. I looked for hope so much at my most depressed, and it helped me a lot, right? It's not the thin club. I think people are just trying to be healthy and better version of themselves. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're happy, as long as you're if you're happy as you are, fine, but don't try to knock someone for their progress, right? So basically, people weren't really agreeing with her in her own comments, and it is what it is. I think obviously I agree with a lot of those comments. It's stuff like this that's frustrating. It was just so bizarre to see this video. It just really gives like mean girl energy, honestly, which is interesting considering I think in my original video where I talked about her a year ago, I remember being like, she seems level-headed compared to a lot of the other people. And again, that's the sad thing about social media. A lot of times that doesn't really pay off very well. So the more inflammatory you can be, the more over the top you can be, the more clicks you can get, the more people you can get to kind of comment on your stuff, right? And it seems like that's kind of the road that she's going down is just more and more ridiculous. But I just wanted to share that video. I thought that it was a little interesting. So I would love to know what you guys think down in the comments section down below. If you did make it to the end of the video, I really appreciate it. Remember, we do have merch. I'm wearing the hat. We have shirts, hoodies, all that stuff. Girl World stuff. If you want to check that out, there will be a link down in the description, and there should be some photos that you can see the merch right under the video. But I appreciate you so much for being here, and I will see you next time. Peace.